Okie
Okay, so all 12 people on the streams get to hear us going live. Oh, we're live. We're live on both now. We're live everywhere.
Woo!
We're even live on the
All
Home Shopping
right.
Network.
Yes, that's right. And the Adventure Channel.
The Adventure Channel.
Because I have some photos that I'm about. What the hell are you talking about? That's not my password. Turkey?
Brian's trying to get logged into YouTube, and we're going to get to listen to Brian do a password reset live on the phone in just a moment here.
Actually, that was the wrong frickin' password.
Ah.
Can you believe it?
Well, do you have more than one YouTube account?
Dork. Well, no, I was trying to give it the Yahoo password.
Ah, I see.
Because I'm in a hurry. You screw things up when you're in a hurry.
If there's one thing I've learned about working IT, it's that people can't handle having multiple passwords. Just can't do it. Just can't. You give them a second password, and you explain to them, this is your second password for these systems, and this password's used for these systems. In 90 days, when that password expires, they're going to be like, well,
right.
I thought that synced up with my other password.
And Google now wants me to update my reserve phone number or recovery phone number and recovery
email. My God.
It's already there.
All these things stop asking us for updates 24/7.
Hey, and there's a link. Woohoo.
Every time I go to use something, it wants me to update. Every now and then I have a bit of free time to sit down and spend a few minutes playing a modern video game, throw the disc in the machine, power the machine on. You need to download and install about 2 hours worth of updates. But I only had an hour worth of time put aside for this.
Then, of course, AVG, virus protection, wants you to reboot the computer twice.
Ugh.
Why?
Could we just not anymore? Could we just not? You know what? If this is what security means, I'm done with security. Let the hackers have my machine.
All right. Let me disconnect from the
yeah, we probably should hang up.
Echo machine.
There we go. Now the question is, can we hear you on this machine? Oh, I don't think I hear you. I know you hear me because I heard me before we hung up, but I'm not hearing you. Huh. Well, I guess the first question is my sound card working? Oh, I heard that.
Beep beep.
There we go. We are here. We are live. This is great.
Turn the computer. So what the hell is that in the corner?
That's
the carpet.
It's carpet.
I mean, because this way I was, right below the light, and I had a halo.
Ah, so now,
boy, Studio 2 needs a lot of work.
So Studio A,
C.
Studio A is your home normal studio. Studio B is the party house. So where is Studio?
Well, but that's in the dining room. And I can run a cable to the router.
I see. So Studio
I'm
C...
not stuck on Wi-Fi. And what is this black shit on the desk?
So Studio C is also...
This is a second... What is that black shit? Oh, I think my headphones are coming apart.
Yeah, they do that. So Studio C is also at the party house?
Yeah, in the guest bedroom. See? There's even a bed.
Oh, wow. So we are live from the party house this week.
Right.
And getting ready to throw some wild parties to keep the neighborhood up all night?
Right. Yeah, we arrived at midnight last night.
Uh-huh.
And nobody was up to greet us.
Well, that's because you hadn't started the party yet. You just cranked
Exactly.
And speaking of parties... We got Venison on the line here, who is ready to party.
Oh wow, it is set up that way.
So how many hours have you been already partying, Venison?
Oh, let's see. About 3 weeks.
Oh, let's see. We need to convert that to hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Takes 12 hours for sleeping.
So we got 24 hours in a day times 7 days in a week times 3 weeks of
take off 8
partying.
hours per day.
Take off what?
8 hours per day. Gotta sleep.
Fuck sleep. I want to see you do 504 hours of partying back to back before you sleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what true rock stars do.
You know, have you ever heard of, and I've heard of the phrase, but I've never really given it serious thought until someone told me a story once. There's the whole, the phrase going on a bender. And I guess going on a bender, you know, I always took that to mean like you just drink for a really long time and you pass out and then you know, have a really bad morning. But no, because I remember one of my former coworkers, before we worked together, had told me a story about, I guess he had some roommates or people he knew, and he was going away for somewhere for a week, and they're like, we're going to go on a bender. We're going to go on a week-long bender. We are going to... And he went away for a week. He came back, and they were, like, still alive and I guess kind of functioning, but like there weren't very many brain cells left working. Like they did a week-long bender, and they were like, I Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I think is.
Yeah,
so,
that happens.
Yeah. So I don't think you know what. You get me on beer 7, and it's like I'm gonna pass out, you know, and beer 7 is where the trouble begins.
Right.
I mean, 6, drink lots of water, go to sleep, take some pills, you'll be fine. Beer 7, you're gonna feel some pain the next day.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes you just want to sit back, be comfortable, and get thoroughly wasted for days on end.
That's what shots are for.
You can. What?
That's what tequila's for.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, drinking tequila for a week? No.
No, tequila for a night. I took a shot of tequila once. I ended up speaking French to a guy that only understood Spanish in the parking lot, and then they sent me on my way. And I met a nice police officer. I checked off all the boxes: white, cash, and wallet. They called me a cab.
Well, that was nice of them.
Yeah, that was. My car was not at the home that the cab took me to. But I wanted to go crash on a friend's couch. I'm like, dude, my friend's down the street there, and his couch is there. And my car is parked. No, you can't go to your car. Well, I'm not going to drive it, officer. Are you crazy? I'm drunk. What kind of people you deal with here?
Yeah, good escape.
Anyways, yeah.
Quick thinking.
But I had two options: have them bring me in someplace, or take a cab home. So I went with the option that involved getting away from the police. So that was that.
Yeah, but at least they let you go home.
Yeah. Like I said, I checked off.
Called the cab.
Yeah, well,
How nice.
I there was enough cash in my wallet to pay the cab driver. So they took all my cash. They called a cab. They handed him the cash and said, "Get this guy wherever he tells you to go." And within my babbling slurring speech, not slurring words, slurring speech, apparently my address came out coherent enough that he got me there. So there you go.
Yeah. Like I said, lucky you.
Lucky me.
I probably would have been shot.
I don't know about shot.
They did something.
But actually, you wanted two shots, not just one.
Yeah, you wanted two shots. That's well. Here was the problem. The problem is, and this is just a story, plain and simple, how it happened. I'm not saying anything about the people in this story. They were all nice, friendly people, and if they understood French or if I knew how to speak Spanish, we would have communicated more. But before then, everything was fine. We were speaking the language of beer and tequila. I was hanging out at Pete's place. You know, this is in Bound Brook, New Jersey. Hanging out at Pete's place, and there was a guy that lived across the street from him. I think we lost Brian. Oh,
no, just trying to get some more light because you were seeing the back of my.
Yeah.
And this should be a little better.
So there was a bit of a
I'm
commotion.
still like standing like a giant.
I see.
Right?
Yeah, it's
That's because the computer is low on the desk. It should be higher. But then again, this is Studio C that has never been checked out before.
Yeah, I mean we're
and
we're
wait a
learning.
minute, I am wireless.
Oh, there we go. Cool, the wireless studio.
I don't even know where how long the battery lasts on these headphones. That's what that was really for.
We might find out.
And speaking of wireless,
No, I
and
plugged it in, so it's charging.
Okay, all right.
battery just became unplugged from the laptop, and I can't find it.
The battery?
No, but batteries inside the unit. Come on, find the plug.
Hey, Venison, do you get the stream on?
Do I?
Yeah, you do. Somewhere in your house.
Back that off. There we go.
Because I was
pick
talking
that
about
up.
batteries on a delay. Anyways, so I'm hanging out at Pete's place, Bound Brook, New Jersey. We're drinking. And this was when I discovered a lovely drink called the Bacardi Silver. And this is the one and only time I drank the lovely drink called the Bacardi Silver. And because this was before I really acquired a taste to really enjoy beer. I drank beer, and I had fun hanging out with the guys, and they were drinking beer, but I didn't really like beer. But then again, they usually had 30 packs of Budweiser in cans in their fridge. So in my defense, we weren't really drinking beer.
Thank God it was Miller.
Anyways, and then when I discovered there are other beers, and then I started bringing like Molson. That's when things got better. But this time I brought Bacardi Silver and Heineken, and we emptied them out into the cooler, and everyone's drinking Heinekens and Buds. I'm drinking Bacardi Silver, and at some point we were out of Bacardi Silver, and I was drinking Heinekens, and being that no one else was drinking the Bacardi Silvers, I think one guy tried one of them. That means I drank 11 Bacardi Silvers.
Dang.
And at least one Heineken, and you got a Ravenswood Zinfandel.
That's one.
Yeah. So I put away. Let's say someone else drank a Bacardi Silver. I probably put away something like 10 Bacardi Silvers and a Heineken or two. And at some point over the course of this, some commotion started occurring from across the street. And there was this guy that lived across the street with his family named Cesar. And you're showing us another bottle of Robert Mondavi, Napa Valley. I've been there. A Cabernet Sauvignon from 2013. See, this is not the stuff that we were drinking out in Pete's front yard.
Right. I'm looking for. Oh wait, this is a wine cooler. So
I think there might have been a box of wine in the fridge for when Pete's wife got home from work.
Oh, there we go.
But so we are in the wine cellar, which is also Studio C. I think we got a nice Chardonnay there.
Yes, Kendall Jackson.
Yes. So
Vintner's Reserve.
So some ruckus and commotion starts coming from the house across the street with this guy named Cesar living with his family. And apparently Cesar and his wife got into some kind of a argument that escalated to the point of her and the kids getting in the car and driving off, peeling rubber out of the neighborhood, and Cesar being a bit upset. And I think there was alcohol involved. So we were like...
You think?
I think.
Yeah.
And there was also alcohol involved on our side of the street, too. So we're like, oh, we've got to get these two parties together. So someone went over and said, hey, Cesar, what's going on, man? And, kind of helping him out. So he comes over, he hangs out. And Cesar spoke English as a second language. But it was all good. We're all drinking, we're all having a good time. And at some point, I think, like, Daryl and Jim went off to go to bed. And so it gets to a point where it's just me, Pete, and Cesar. And we go and open up the cooler, and it's empty. And so that's usually when the cooler's empty, that means, well, time to go pass out someplace. But this was not a normal night. This was a night that Pete was like, well, guess that means we're walking to a bar. And so we stumbled down the street, and Cesar said, I know a place, follow me. And we go to this bar that Pete had never gone to before because me and Pete both were not of the normal clientele of this bar. Everyone spoke Cesar's language, and we just told everyone to call us Pedro. And they were all laughing and having a good time, and we were all drinking. I didn't understand a word they said. They didn't understand a word I said. And but there was a rule in this bar, and the rule in this bar was everyone took turns buying rounds of drinks. And the other rule was it didn't matter if you were ready for the next round or not. That round was getting bought. Because I'm like, oh my God, I've had 10 Bacardi Silvers and 2 Heinekens. I shouldn't be alive right now. The last place I should be going is a bar. But Pete owns the house. I can't crash on his couch until he goes to bed. So I was kind of stuck following Pete and Cesar to this bar and pretending to be Pedro. And so next thing I know, I have a Budweiser.
I know, you weren't Jesus because half the people there were named Jesus.
Right.
There you go.
There we go. And they were having a good time. So next thing I know, I got a Budweiser in my hand. Because, Cesar knows all of them. They all know it. It's like, hey, they're with me. And, hey, another round, cerveza. And, I got a Budweiser in my hand. And so I'm like, okay, I can handle this. I take a sip of this, I hold this, and then I'm good. Hey, cerveza. Next thing I know, I got 2 Budweisers in my hands. And I'm like, this ain't stopping. and I'm nursing the Budweiser, and I reached that tipping point of, you know what? This isn't a bad idea. This is a great idea. And so I finished that. I finished the second Budweiser, and then the shots of tequila start happening. I got to say, this bar has an interesting thing where, like, there was like these big shot glasses. Like I think they fit like 3 shots in them, and I'm not exaggerating that much. And so next thing I know, I was doing a shot of tequila. I seem to recall trying to drink from the wrong side of the glass. But somehow more tequila made its way into my mouth than on my face, unfortunately. After that, my memory gets a little hazy, and I don't know how I ended up in the parking lot, but I did. And I thought my friends were still in the bar. They also ended up in the parking lot, but they were coherent enough to walk away from the bar and the people that kicked us out into the parking lot. And now I'm told that they said, "Hey, Johnny, this way." And that I just kind of stood there staring off into the distance, mumbling about stuff. They weren't quite sure what. And, but by the time I came to, they were long gone, and I thought they were still in the bar. So I tried to get back in the bar because my friends are in there. And the guy at the door of the bar, they didn't want to let me in. And I think they were trying to explain to me, no, your friends left. And I'm trying to explain to them, no, my friends are in there. And it just wasn't happening. So like I said, the police were nice enough to call me a cab. And now I don't know about you, Brian. You had any encounters close to that? Maybe a little too much drinking in a bar or with the friends, or...
Well, there was a time I was in the dorm and did more drinking than I needed to, but I can't remember what happened.
One, two. Oh, okay. Okay.
And I woke up the next day at about 3 o'clock.
Convenient story. I can't remember
Right,
what happened
right.
because I was drinking too much.
And then we went to a hockey game.
You woke up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or in the
Yes,
morning?
in the afternoon, right. In
Okay.
the afternoon.
Okay. All right. All
Or
right.
maybe it was 4. But actually, it was getting close to dark. I guess winter anyway, right, in Connecticut.
Right.
So we went to a hockey game after. You know, and
Yeah.
I
Why
didn't
not?
feel very well. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. No, I didn't
And
feel
I think
very well.
I think the hockey team lost.
It's because you were so hungover that they were feeling your hangover, and
That's
they
what
lost.
it was. That's what it was.
Now, Venison, I know you got some stories. Have you ever been kicked out of a bar, though?
Nope. Yeah, too smart for that. But yeah, there's been some instances where I have come home because I had to. Blackout drunk, and and it happened en route. I don't know how. It's his band's house, and we had a lot of booze up there, because somebody found the restaurant door open at night and collected a lot of bottles of booze. So,
well, and the worst part is, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Venison. You weren't done yet.
No, come on, no. Okay, so we got all the booze and drank ourselves silly. I think it was a holiday night, either New Year's or Christmas. No, I think it was New Year's.
That's a good night.
Yeah. And I got to the point where I was like, I think I better go home.
Oops, I gotta take this.
All right, Brian's got a call. We'll talk more about Venison's New Year's. So you had to go home.
Oh, yeah. So I got in the car, headed back, and was very careful. And I think I did pretty well.
You were careful to give the sober driver the proper directions back to your house, you mean?
What sober driver? Just me alone.
Let's. Oh, you had one of those self-driving cars. Let's not incriminate yourself for criminal.
Well, it was kind of. You're not letting me finish.
When you got those bumpers on the side of the road, the car just drives itself. Boom, 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 boom. We shouldn't laugh about this.
Yeah, but I started on my way home, and about halfway through the mountain pass, I was like, "Where am I? I don't know where I am," and started panicking.
And then you found yourself in the middle of a cow pasture, and
No, I got on the CB radio. Called a couple of friends of mine, said, "I don't know where I am. How do I get home?"
Oh, this has got to be the best night on listening to a radio. Some drunk guy's driving home, asking for directions.
Yeah, directions back to my house.
Oh.
On the roads I have been driving up and down for the past 7 years.
So you're still on the road, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. I actually got my directions like, oh, now I know. You take the second exit off the circle, and end up in the valley, down to Route 22. So everything was fine until, I kept the speed limit, followed the lane, everything else, and all the road rules, and I saw a cop get behind me.
Oh, that's not what you want to see.
No, it is not. And, he stayed behind me, saw everything in school, and I was being rather nonchalant about it. So, nothing happened. I got on the overpass, got on the highway, and that's when I decided I need help. Yeah. So I took the stereo and blasted, the Riggs radar radar rider as loud as I could to keep me awake. But that's all I remember. I remember taking the exit. I don't remember anything else.
Car drove itself home. You were fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. The car drove itself home and parked itself, came up the driveway, did a little U-turn into my parking space next to the street, and, and I woke up behind the wheel. Car turned off. And I just said, how the fuck did I get here?
That
perfectly parked.
That reminds me of a story of an uncle of mine that he didn't wake up, but he drove to a house at my grandparents owned a lake house that they'd spent a lot of time in the summers, and so my parents were there. This is before I was around, and they hear the sound of someone trying to get in the house in the middle of the night. Go down, investigate. They don't see anything. Go back to bed. And it turns out that my uncle had, I guess, driven there late at night, couldn't get in the house, so went in his car to sleep in his car till the morning and people woke up. But at some point, he shifted while sleeping in the car and landed on the horn and was so dead to the world, it wasn't waking him up. So everyone was awoken at 6 a.m. to this coming from the car, and it's just not stopping. They get out there, he's just there leaning out the horn, dead to the world. They had to shake him a bit to get him off of it, but not sure how you pull that off, sleeping through a car horn that you're leaning on, but apparently it is possible. So at least you didn't do that.
Yeah, at least I can be away from my own horn. Unfortunately, during one really cold winter at below zero in the morning, like you said, 6 o'clock in the morning, I get woken up to, it's a van horn.
Oh.
Yeah, my van, for some reason, the metal disc that activates a horn contracted so much, it hit against the button and activated it.
Oh, man.
I had to rip apart, rip apart the top of the steering wheel in order to get at it. And dig like a little screwdriver or something to stop it.
Couldn't you just get the battery, go back to bed?
Because the horn would have been stuck. When I wake up, I would still have to fix it.
I see. Oh, yeah, I mean,
and when I drive myself out of bed to start the day, I don't want to fix nothing. Just get in the van, and go to work. And that was it. That was also the day that my radiator was so clogged up, it overheated about halfway there. From ice. There wasn't enough antifreeze. I swore there was enough antifreeze in there. Like I said, it got cold out. 20 degrees below zero. The water inside, antifreeze inside the car just froze up.
It's funny, you talk about antifreeze, which, antifreeze or coolant is pretty much the same thing. It's just that it does serve both purposes of not freezing and also keeping things cool. There's for some reason, these things just rub me a certain way that I can't help but laugh. But people make these memes of fake car advice, and the sad thing is that it's obviously bad advice, and any normal, sane, rational human being that sees them will have a little chuckle and go, "Only an idiot would do that." The problem is that when you put something like that out on the internet where like 10 million people can read it, there's probably about a few thousand people that are actually going to do it as a result of that being posted. But like,
there are a lot of stupid people in this country.
But it's like the suggestion that antifreeze. You need to change the coolant out for water in the winter because in the winter it's too cold for your car to run with coolant. Let's see. Here we go. Winter tip number 111. At night before your warmed up car gets cold, lay a soaking wet towel on the glass to hold in the heat. In the morning, it will remove easily to reveal an unfrozen windshield. Or you can put a 2-inch screw in each tread of your tire to make snow tires. Kind of do-it-yourself type of thing. Scariest thing that could happen this winter is your brakes freezing up while driving. Add a cup of antifreeze to your brake fluid to keep it from freezing this winter. That
one I would question at least.
I would question that too. No, don't do these things.
I would question that and say, is that feasible? Research it thoroughly before I make a decision.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That's bad. Remember, it's coldest time of the year, so ensure you keep your engine running while draining oil so it doesn't freeze.
Right.
Gas cap hard to unscrew. Simply take your lighter and burn off the hardened residue that is built up inside the hole. Don't do that! Please, put the lighter down. To stop your brakes from sticking this winter, put some oil on your rotors. Once again, don't do any of these things. Icy windshield? Simply install sandpaper under your wiper blades and turn wipers on full speed until you can see clearly.
Oh, God. Well, sandpaper won't scratch the glass. Only diamonds can do that.
Yes.
So, maybe that one.
Oh, that'll scuff the glass right up. Be sure to loosen your lug nuts for winter so they don't freeze to the wheel in case of a flat tire.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
What site is this again?
I just did a Google Images search for bad car tips, and tons of these show up. Add a 10 to 12 ounce of your favorite energy drink to the coolant. Faster warm-up time, better cooling properties, and improves coolant life. That sounds solid to me.
Yeah, some of these you don't know.
Yeah. Remove your front tires for better handling in the snow. The edges of the wheel will dig into the ice, giving you precise steering.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like solid advice to me.
Yeah, considering you use metal runners on sleds to make you go faster.
Here's another fluid tip. Add oil to your washer fluid to lubricate the windshield. This aids in ice removal. Don't do any of these things, please.
Oh no, I missed that. Lubricate the windshield?
I was reading. There's been a bunch of memes that have been floating around for a while of bad car advice, and these things just make me laugh. Remember, it's coldest time of the year, so ensure you keep your engine running while draining oil so it doesn't freeze. Or let's see. Scariest thing that could happen this winter is your brakes freezing up while driving. Add a cup of antifreeze to your brake fluid to keep it from freezing this winter. These are once again, don't do this. People listening right now, do not.
The first one at first sounded a little logical.
Yeah.
But go, wait a second. Keep the engine running with no oil.
Well, because if you're draining the oil, it's going to get cold in there. You might have it freeze up, so you got to keep some heat going. There was a...
Yeah, no. Stop the engine. Yeah, the oil is hot. Stop the engine, drain the oil, and then put in new oil before you start it again.
Right. No, I know this. You know this. But this
right.
is...
Yeah,
the whole-
everybody knows this. But hey, if you use 650, you can do that.
I once heard a guy call in the car talk one time, and he was talking about how I guess he had found a shortcut to doing his oil and just wanted to kind of get Click and Clack's approval on this. He's like, well, I don't remove the drain plug. Like, I guess it was frozen stuck in there, and so, I just take the oil filter out, drain it through there, and they're like, well, how do you get all the oil to drain out that way? He's like, oh, I just start it for a moment and just shut it right off. And they're like, whoa, no. If you're going to do it that way, don't change your oil. You're better off driving on old oil than you are doing that.
Right. Well, yeah, you could drain out some that way, seal it up again, and then add more oil.
Right.
That would help.
Right.
But then the oil change, the whole idea is to get rid of the sludge.
Right.
And that's not going to remove the sludge.
I guess his theory was you start it up just long enough to drain everything out and then shut the engine right off, and that'll be fine because you only did it quickly.
Huh.
But the reaction.
So how about this one? This is for real.
Okay.
Would you ever go, oh, my brake fluid is low, and I don't have any brake fluid in the garage. Should I put in transmission fluid instead?
I wouldn't.
They're all hydraulic, right?
No, I wouldn't do that. I know enough not to do that.
Do you think that some mechanical engineer would do that?
Oh, I could see a mechanical engineer doing that. Yeah, of course.
Yes, because my brother did that.
So what did he hit when he went for his brakes and nothing happened?
So he had to replace all of his brake cylinders and the master cylinder.
Oh, that does not sound cheap.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Now, did the brakes work for a while before it damaged everything, or did it just immediately make everything go to hell? I mean...
he never said, but you see that recent commercial about, it's these, kind of fake mottos, and this guy's, does brakes in a gas station that does brakes. And their motto was, yeah, if our brakes don't stop you, then something else will.
So that's what happened.
Seriously, that's a good motto.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time I was, now here's the thing. If you don't think about things, you assume things without realizing you're assuming things. So every time you start the car, now me, I only came to realize when I moved up to Maine that not everyone does everything the way I do things, and this has very little to do with anything except that I put the brake on every time I park my car because it's a parking brake. You park your car, you put the brake on. Now Gothard, he rarely ever puts the parking brake on because it's parked. Where's the car going to go? You only need that if you're parking on a steep incline. I'm like, you just do it because it's a reflex reaction and you just always put it on because of the parking brake. He goes, no, it's the emergency brake. It's not the parking brake. It's the emergency brake. I'm like, same difference. So,
no, look at the book and tell you what it says. Does it say emergency brake or parking brake?
I don't know. But
99% of the time it says parking brake.
Okay. But it could be used in an emergency, but then you got to be.
Or it's a hand brake.
Yeah, but mine's a foot parking brake.
One from New York using just the emergency brake ones. Blew the brake lines.
With a hand brake, you can make some special turns.
Oh yeah, well, video games have taught me that.
Right, see?
But yeah, I know all about that. Gran Turismo 3. Anyways, so basically, there's a red light that says brake, and that's the light to let you know that the parking brake is on. And so one day, I'm out, hanging out with some friends, and after I'm done hanging out, I get in my car, I start the car, and the red brake light is on, and I pull the thing, take the brake off, the red light's still on, and I'm like, but I took the brake off. Why is the red brake light lit up if I took the brake off? There must be something wrong with the light because my brake isn't on. I took the brake off, but the light must be a bad sensor, and I drove home. and everything was fine. And next morning, Dad's like, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how's the car doing?" "Oh, well, I noticed that when I took off the brake, the red brake light didn't come off. It stayed on." He goes, "Oh, well, I should probably check out your brakes then." And it turned out I was low on brake fluid. And so that's why I learned, that light does more than one thing relating to brakes.
More than one thing. Who would have thought?
But
Certainly I didn't.
No, I mean, my initial thought was that's the light to let you know the brake is on. So if the light is on and you know the brake's not on, then there's something wrong with the light. That was my logic,
Right.
because the thought never occurred to me that they would
Yeah, I can
use
see
that
that.
light. Yeah, it made sense to me. My dad's like,
Right.
"Oh, you probably got a problem. I better take a look." And he's like, "Hey, it's a good thing you told me that. You were really low on brake fluid." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm glad I got home." But so, yeah, I drove home with a red light on telling me my brakes might have a problem. And I had no idea that was telling me that my brakes had a problem, because I thought it was like, "You idiot. I took the brakes off." I can hear Dune face palming right now.
So I had this Dodge van. In fact, for a while I was commuting with it when I was living in Denver. Of course, that was terrible in winter because, it was a 3-speed manual transmission and rear-wheel drive, and most of the time it didn't have much weight in the back. So, you're just like an anvil sliding down the road in the wintertime.
Right.
Right? So anyway, I moved to Houston because I had a trailer that I was towing with it. And I would park the van and the trailer in, this storage yard. And it was actually pretty cheap. But once in a while I'd have it there too long and not moving, and the brakes would be rusted to the rims. Not a good thing.
No, that's
Fortunately, it
right.
was a stick shift with forward and reverse, of course, and you could pop the clutch to force the brakes to release. Although one time I had a situation where the clutch rusted together. So it was actually even more difficult to get it to, because you couldn't even start the car.
Real good
Right.
maintenance plan there.
Okay, I don't know
Well,
much
so
about
what
driving
you'd have to
stick.
do is jack up the back wheel, start the car with that wheel turning, and then slam on the brakes. While you're kind of letting loose on the clutch, so you could break that clutch freeze.
This is why I don't drive stick. There's too many things to remember.
Oh, but if you had automatic, you could do about it? Call a tow truck.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah. Well,
Right. But see, this didn't cost me anything.
let me. You know what? I don't know what "pop the clutch" means, but I do know a story that uses this phrase.
Yeah.
And I know it has something to do with if you drive a stick and you don't have a starter, all you got to do is make sure you park on a hill, and you'll be fine. And for me, it don't matter. I can't drive a stick car, so if it's parked in the hill, not parked in the hill, if it can start, it can't start. It ain't going anywhere with me sitting in the driver's seat.
Well, remember my buddy Dan, and you were using his cell phone for a while.
Yeah. The guy
He told
whose
me he
phone calls.
always buys a car with a manual transmission, and when the salesman gives him grief about it, he says, "I never learned how to drive an automatic."
He's got good lines. I'll give him that.
He does. He does.
It was funny. I had no idea. But we're sitting at Hot Pot. Chris and I, my Fong, you, because it was when you were you were going to Singapore, so we're having a let's send Brian off dinner, and so we're doing Hot Pot. And I'm hanging out with Dad, probably relaying his messages to him that I've been getting for the past few years. And the thought never occurs to me, because all these meats start showing up. And Dan goes, "Anyone have any objections to any of these meats?" And we're like, "Well, whatever." He's like, No, anyone? No, everyone here eats pork? Everyone? I'm like, yeah. It's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm the only one Jewish here, so I'll just eat pork too." And that's what I like.
Oh, I missed that one. That's great.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, did not get what you were asking. If you want to leave the pork out, go ahead." He's like, "I don't care, whatever." So
Yeah, just don't give me that tripe. Well,
I had to stay away from the shrimp because the shrimp still had eyes on them, and I don't. Yeah, no.
Well, you can peel off the eyes.
Yeah, but if I got to peel eyes off of something, I don't want to eat it.
Right.
Anyways, I do want to confirm the chat room is up. Jose Guzman said hi to Gators and friends. Hello, Jose. Thank you for tuning in. Shaz is hanging out too. She laughed a few times. Now, Dune said yes, and Shaz said I bet he is. So I think that's confirmation that when I told the story about driving home with a brake light on, that yes, Dune was face palming. And I heard it.
Well, we do have a setup already out there.
Yeah.
For looking for Dune's pregnancy test.
Dune's.
Hey, before we get to that, Johnny,
okay.
I got a little something for you too. By the sweet, damn it. Sorry, egg salad. But when you said you'll never see you behind the stick,
yeah,
that was my philosophy too.
Mm-hmm.
That I was never going to get behind the stick because I can't drive it either. Until you join the Navy.
Well.
You end up in the shipyard.
Okay.
And you have to drive the quote-unquote company car, to get some parts.
And it's a stick.
And it's a stick. And you're the only one.
What kind of car was that?
Free to do it. Huh?
What kind of car was that?
I don't know, Ambassador or something.
Oh, okay.
I have this idea.
Okay.
Anyways, well, the nice thing about an old Rambler with the stick on the column is that you could make the car fart on command with a stick.
Oh, that's great.
It's the way you...
We're not done yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, like I said, I was in the shipyard and had to go get parts somewhere in Brooklyn.
Oh, you got to do some city driving stick for the first time.
Yes, New York City driving.
Nice. I did. I drove around in a pickup truck in Boston once with a stick.
So how many times did you have to stop for a new clutch during this trip?
What's a clutch?
A lot. There were times I was like panicking and said, "Oh, put it in any gear," and try to go through the intersection.
Grind it till you find it.
There it is. I think I found third.
All kinds of fucked up shit. Overturning, underturning. Couldn't get the gears right. Oh, well, made it back though. Didn't hit anything, thank God.
I tried something kind of like driving stick once. Because hanging out with Pete and the guys, these are the guys that left me in the parking lot of a Hispanic bar. But they did try to teach me how to drive a four-wheeler once, because they had four-wheeler thing that you. But those things you shift into different gears using your foot, and so they take me out for a ride on it. I'm a passenger, and they're like vroom, vroom. It's like there now the power you got. You got to know what you're dealing with before we let you off on the open road with it. Okay, first thing we need you to do is we need to teach you how to get in the first gear. I'm like, first gear, okay, that's step. So I learned how to methodically and consistently stall the thing out. I never did get it into first gear. It was like, no, you gotta lift up and do this, and you just gotta feel it, and it just pops right in. It's like, no, let's try that again. You didn't get the timing. Every I could not get this thing into gear. Supposedly getting it from first into second was easier. I don't know if that's true or not because I never mastered first. So who's on first? Not Gators. He's not on first. so
now the Formula One cars, let's just say they're very fiddly.
Okay.
Even experts that know how to drive them have a hard time, and I've seen videos of it.
Okay. Oh, so it's not just me.
So you would never be able to get the thing to go.
Right. No. Gators.
You go, zoom, there's a guy going at 200 miles an hour, and I am going nowhere.
Yeah. I've often pointed out in the early days of this show, it was a number of years before we revealed that, Gothard is gay. So it was what I considered one of the greatest inside jokes of the show, because I often made little comments or little things that were funny if you knew that information. And I don't know if anyone ever goes back and re-listens to those shows, I might, catch those things. But one of my favorite lines was always point out, and this was absolutely true, but it was true on other levels. And I always pointed out, no, Gothard drives stick and I don't.
I did not see that one coming. It's like, how did we change the subject? Oh, we didn't. Yes, we did.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite inside jokes that I quite frequently during the show. If ever Gothard driving his car, I'd always go, I can't drive your car because you drive stick and I don't. And no one had any clue that was true on multiple levels. And
right.
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you like hot rods?
No, I'm not into car gets me from point A to point B. I don't,
That's why you drive a station wagon.
Yeah, because it has room for storage. It's functional.
And you missed it.
No, I don't like hot rods. I don't know what I missed though, but
he still has the station wagon, right?
I think Venison's trying to imply something or make a joke or something. I don't.
Yeah, it's an implication. Implication joke.
No. I now my dad's into the cars, but I'm not. I don't care. Don't care. I don't understand people that watch cars drive around in circles for hours on TV. I don't get this. It's like, oh, you're back to where you started. You're back to where you started again. They're going fast.
Well, the oval loop.
Vroom.
Although
I don't get it. Why do people watch this?
The oval loop, when you're live in a stadium, is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, but when you're in the stadium, you're sitting there and you see a blur every now and then. At least on TV, you actually see what's happening. But still, I still don't get it.
Right.
Well, it's the idea of having the racers continually going by so you see what's going on versus once going in a straight line and never seeing them again.
It's
that's
all
why
stupid. Car racing is stupid.
That's why I like Formula One. And there's multiple levels. Number one, they've got lots of turns in the track.
Yeah.
They go really fast, and even around the turn, they go faster than any other thing. Like the Indy 500. They don't go that fast around the corners. Formula One goes much faster. The other thing Formula One has is, you've got about 20 drivers to study over the season. That's all. Not like a football. Football has 20 on each team. And there's, 18 teams or 16?
I don't know.
Whatever it is.
There's
just too many people. Or baseball, the same thing. Too many people. On Formula One, 16 to 20 people. And the top six, it's like you like they're your buddies. You know which guy is the best.
Here's the thing. It's like, okay, I can understand certain things because it's like video games. I think racing is fun if you're doing it. I like racing video games. Now, I'm not going to put myself in harm's way and actually get in the car and start racing because I don't have the skills to not kill myself. But I can understand how that's fun. It's the whole sitting there and watching cars go around in circles that I don't understand.
But I do know a guy that does race cars. He's been doing it for about, I think, 5 seasons. And he's doing that little oval.
Yeah. And hey,
and he started out, he's over 60 when he started.
Okay.
But he does it, and his motto is just, if you kind of want to do that, pull the trigger.
I got my video games. I got my consoles. I could race.
Sure. And he does this.
Yeah.
And he gets better. This last season, he took 5th place, which is great because when he started out, he was last place.
Yeah. So he worked his way from 6th to 5th.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but 5 gets you a trophy.
But 5 gets you a trophy. So he's the first place loser is
Right.
Oh no,
that's right.
That's second place is the first place loser. So he's
right.
4th place.
He's the last place. last place winner.
The last loser to place, or the
Right.
I don't know, something like that. We got to figure out. We'll fix that in post.
Right.
I do have my one. Like I said, I can tell one story that references popping a clutch, and all I know is that it has something to do with getting a car that's a stick to start when you don't have a starter. And so apparently, when my dad was in college, he had this situation. And as he puts it, he goes, there's a problem with the starter, but that's okay, because when you're going to school in that area, you just make sure you park on a hill, and then you just, start it rolling down the hill and pop the clutch. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I'd call a tow truck and get my car fixed, but but then again, college student, So apparently, the first date that he went on with my mom was during this period of time where we had to, start the car rolling down the hill and pop the clutch to get it to start. So he goes to, the house my mom's staying at with some of her, college friends, and parks the car on the hill, goes in, pick her up, goes out, get her into the car. Someone else had come in the meantime and parked right in front of him. All my mom's friends are there at the window, at the door, looking at them going off, and my dad's out there pushing the car to get it around the other car so he can start it rolling down the hill.
He needs to put a sign on the front of the car or the back of the car, depending on which you're facing downhill. Says, "Do not park behind me because I need to use the hill to start the car."
Yeah. So he thought for sure he wasn't getting a second date out of this, but apparently that was not a deal breaker.
It amused her.
Maybe she was amused that he was resourceful.
Yeah, I could be. Well, if I have a car that can't start, I know he'll be able to help me get it going. Anyways, there you go. It all worked out. I did not plan on this being a car talk episode, but there you go. This shows how little I know about cars.
Right. See, you should get into it.
Yeah. No, I still have to.
Are you Amazon Prime?
I am Amazon Prime.
So check out Grand Tour, and you can start with season 3 because the first couple of seasons they're getting rid of the stuff because they were on the BBC before and they got fired. So season 3 starts with none of that.
Well, that does remind me. I need to order some super glue because I need to fix my car.
There you go.
So one of these storms we had. Yeah, well, you remember I told the story already. How the water line of the toilet froze, and I couldn't get the back of the car to open, and it wouldn't close until it opened, and so I still have a dangling handle on the back of my car. So I just need to super glue it back on. It'll be fine.
Wait a minute, how is that the toilet?
No, the toilet, the line to the toilet froze, so I needed to go out to the hardware store to get a heat gun, insulation, stuff like that.
Okay.
And when I came back to put the stuff in the car, I tried to open up the back lift gate of the car, but there was ice on there that kept it from opening up, and it was like it's an auto open lift gate, and because it failed to open, it stopped. But it wouldn't close until it finished an opening sequence to then let me initiate a closing sequence. It would just fail to close. So I couldn't. So I'm there in the parking lot at this Home Depot. Like, I can't drive home till I get this thing open and close it. So I'm pulling it, trying to, break the ice off. And I pulled hard enough to rip the handle off.
So last night, after dark, it's time to drive down to Studio C.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
I backed the truck out of the driveway. The windows were foggy, so I had to, run the windshield wipers and spray the blah, blah, blah. And, it was just enough to see. So I get going, and, every 20 feet or so, there's another chunk of ice that hits the windshield. Some of it comes from above, and some from the hood.
Huh.
We stopped at Wendy's and we found out that they were closed. but I was below the lights, and as I stepped out, I saw there was all this ice on the hood, which I didn't see before, and also probably on the roof of the car. That's where all this ice was coming from.
It just kept falling off of there. Yeah.
Because yesterday we got hail, and it must have been falling slush, because it was kind of like, bumpy with big bumps periodically. That was the hail. So it was very bizarre. And it was like a sheet of ice with all these small and large bumps. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Sounds bizarre.
Yeah. How often do we get hail in California?
I don't ever recall ever seeing hail in California. So yeah,
actually, they get hail in California shortly after we arrived in Maui, when we had some crappy weather. I said, hey, day one, it's rain. Well, here they had hail.
Ah.
Let's face it, man. You guys got slammed. Drought Buster Supreme.
Yeah. And so on Saturday before we left, we had this big storm where trees were, a lot of crap was coming off of trees, and there was power outage, and I told you guys this, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a big storm that hit Maui. We get back to California, and then the next day, the same storm hits us again. It's kind of like storm repeat.
You got to get ahead there and catch it again.
Yep. Very weird.
Yeah, California's been getting hit with storm after storm after storm. They're just
and today was perfect, and I'll prove it.
Yeah?
Because we did a little adventure to look for Dune's test.
Oh, that's right. I guess
more coming.
Venison wanted to find out if Dune's pregnant. Is that what was...
Well, no. What, several weeks ago?
No.
Several weeks
Dune
ago,
was in California.
he took a pregnancy
He took a
test.
picture of this pregnancy test kit.
Yes.
So here is, I'll do a little slideshow of the adventure that we had.
So you want to see if the pregnancy test is still there.
Correct, or there's a new one to verify the claim. Right, so I'll screen share.
All right, let's just stick that on you there so we can see what the pregnancy test looks like now and if it's still a baby or not. I forget. Did the test say it was pregnant? So here we are at the pier. We see some water, some fishing poles. Okay.
And let's see, is this going to... Oh, let's see. So, okay, fishing pier.
Yeah.
And this is part of the public pier where you can go fishing without a license.
Ah, nice.
There's a nice boat.
Okay.
And I'm guessing this is a squid boat.
Okay.
Squid season starts in early April. Goes for about 4 weeks, I think.
I'll be here before we
And
know it.
another nice boat, the Sea Wolf 2.
Yeah.
And another boat. Again, we don't see
Lady
any
J.
of the evidence. Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of boats.
J something. And another boat. I like boats. So I saw this rig.
Mm.
Of course, to the left is the business action.
Okay.
And, that was supposed to be a picture of the business action. So there's a ramp up, and then there's this chute that comes down. Presumably, you're loading this stuff on the back of a truck, because this thing in the front there swings out.
Cool.
That lousy shot, right?
And there's the Monterey Fish Company.
Yep. And they were open for business on President's Day.
Nice.
Good job, guys.
And Dune says, yeah, he saw that. I guess the shoot thing, or yeah. So yeah, he's getting a refresher here.
So, and to the left is these blue things.
Okay.
And then there's red versions of it, and the giant ball.
There's a big ball. Got to have your big balls.
And then you've got these other things. Some that have now. I think on the far right, it has the metal crate, whatever you call it, around it. I think that's he was looking at.
Yeah.
That had that blue thing on top.
Right.
But this one was empty, and it didn't have that blue thing on it.
Oh, no pregnancy
And these
test.
things are all empty. So
they've taken away all the pregnancy tests.
yeah. So unfortunately, our whole adventure came up empty.
Now Dune said that it was
as
on
empty-
the corner where the dude was. But
Okay.
so they're all empty, and where
this
the
back
dude was,
corner here?
that far corner where the dude was, so they
Yeah.
all empty.
In fact, there was a dude there before. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that dude. Yeah. He was there. I was just trying to keep him out of the picture.
he may or may not be pregnant. We don't know.
Yeah, and I turned the corner, but I didn't take a picture of anything because there was nothing there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So that was cool. See, I would have never even thought of going all the way down there, but because of Dune's picture and the important mission that he gave me.
Yeah. You got to check it out and see
there
the
it
big
is.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah, the giant ball. Loved that giant ball. And looks like maybe crab traps.
Yeah, it could be. I think you catch crab
And
in
then there's
those.
a close-up of one. And then there's a close-up of that fish market, and you can see it says open, and the door is open.
Yep.
The big thing is, of course, that's a public pier where you can fish without a license, but I have not yet seen a bait shop that you can, rent fishing poles, get, and get the gear, or get all the, fish hooks and whatever, and the bait. And of course,
think,
all important thing is the information on how to catch stuff.
You think
Because
someone
if
would open
anybody
something
knows,
up.
it'll be
Yeah.
the guy at the bait shop.
Yeah. Dune writing in, asking, did you see the seals under the pier?
Ooh, I should have taken. Yeah, actually, we stopped and talked to this man and wife, presumably. The guy was fishing, and she was just doing the talking. In fact, they were from the great state of Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was saying that. I says, yeah, of course, we get all that too here in California.
Yeah.
And there was
Gotta
a
pay
couple
your
of nods
taxes.
there. And there was this
Unless you're
big,
Netflix, and then you don't
there's
have
a-
to pay taxes.
and there was a big seal that was right below him that was scaring the fish away. So that's why he didn't have anything.
Aw.
And I didn't want to say anything, but he kept
Like,
he kept
hey,
at
this is not a good place to fish.
Yeah,
Got a
because I've
friend
been to
down
the
there.
Pacific Pier and I see the seals there. It says, "Why am I here?" If you catch anything, he's just gonna grab it.
Yeah, he's like, oh boy,
Yeah.
they're reeling them in for me. How nice
Yeah,
of them.
thanks. But also, we saw an otter floating by, so that was cool.
That is cool. They had a good day out there.
So there's a picture of the what they call the beach resort, and we stayed there a number of times. We
Cool.
like it there.
Looks
And
like a
it's
nice
just
place.
looking across the thing. And then there's some people with fishing poles.
Yeah.
It was funny. I went as I walked by, and I think that was them. And the dad was talking to the kid about why are you using that other hand to wind up the, the fishing pole, wind up the line. You need to be holding it this way and use your right hand. But so it was kind of funny that he was trying to get his kid to do it right.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to teach you how to fish.
Right.
Teach a man to fish, and then
That's
they'll
right.
learn to.
So there's this
how to
other
drink.
vehicle, and I don't know if I got the shot or not. No, that's not it. Dang. Sorry, I'm zipping through these pictures.
That's okay. So yeah, we got a good look at nice day out there. So
Yeah, so right after this, there's some buildings. Yeah, I didn't get it. Just to the left of the camera view, and there's this thing that hangs out, and there was this white SUV underneath it. As I passed underneath it, oh, there's a police officer in the car.
okay.
It looked like he was having a meal, and not a donut.
Wow.
So, anyway, so that is the
Well, there we go. Now we
you
know.
are screen sharing.
Now we
So
know.
stop it.
All right, so no pregnancy tests there this day, but who knows what the future holds.
Right.
All right, so that was the pregnancy
Right.
test, or the pregnancy check.
Yep.
So, okay, cool.
With inconclusive results.
Inconclusive results. We
But the
still
other,
don't know.
actually, the other mission is that I have some relatives coming in a couple of months, and one of the guys in the group wants to go fishing. So I said, well, I'll check out the pier in Monterey, because I really haven't done that before. And thanks to Dune, I kind of got a little start on the information on it.
Oh, that's great. That worked out
Yeah,
really
it
cool.
was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a small update on the job situation. It's because I interviewed a week ago this past Friday. So you'd think that I'd have a decision by now, but still no. They're very busy, which is why they need to hire me. So the recruiter's been sending me emails every few days, basically saying, "Hey, still no update. Hey, I'm really sorry, still no update. Hey, this sucks, still no update." Yeah, he's trying to be that, which he doesn't need to sugarcoat it. But I appreciate him checking in. So that's nice. So one thing that occurred to me was I'm at a point today that now it is over a week since I interviewed, and they said they were going to make a decision after I interviewed. I think I've reached generally, it's a good idea to wait until you hear something. But then it goes, well, how long does it apply? At some point, should you check in yourself? Should you start making phone calls at some point? And I'm like, it's over a week. And everyone I talked to said, if you think of any other questions, please give me a call. I mean, when you interview someone, they always end with that, hey, if you have any other questions, give me a call. So I decided, you know what? The person I interviewed with, that's kind of the hiring manager here that I'd be reporting to, I'm going to give her a call today. Find out what's... So I did a search for the company name in my mailbox to find all the emails relating to this to see if I could find her contact information. And I found an email, an auto-reply email from last June. Last June I applied with this company and never heard back from them. Which... It's one of those things where I send applications out all the time that I don't hear back on. Sometimes I hear things, sometimes I don't. I don't follow up on all of them because I just send it out there and wait for a call or notification. I'm not going to start nagging everybody unless I'm desperate, and I'm not desperate. But I did not know. I applied, and so I'm like, wait a minute. They told me that no one ever worked at the Boston office until now, and this is the first time they're hiring someone at the Boston office. And I'm like, was I looking at opportunities in New York last year, maybe? Because I was still thinking about that. No, I applied for a position in IT in the Boston office with this company last June, and they never contacted me. So I'm like, not only has over a week gone, but they've been interviewing for this position since last June, possibly. I'm like, this is weird.
I mean, it could be another position, but
they
so
never...
maybe they get a list of people that they interview. They pick this guy, and they don't tell anybody else anything.
But that's the thing. They've told me no one ever worked in this office in IT before. This is the first time they're hiring someone. So that means anything that they did last June did not result in a hire. Unless they did hire someone.
That makes sense. Unless, of course, they're lying.
Lying.
Or they intended to set up this operation back in June.
Right.
But something happened, and
so it's like
the whole thing got canceled.
Is it like
starting up again?
Is it like this whole process has been dragging on, and now I'm in the middle of something that's been going on for months? Or so I think whatever happened.
Or is this a sign of bad leadership?
And I don't want to make any conclusions yet because everyone I've talked to has been really good. It's just been a little slow, and I understand how if you're busy, you got to prioritize, and I'm not an immediate need, although I certainly would help things out if I were there. But anyways, I found her number. I gave her a call today. I was like, hey, Gators, interviewed a while ago. Just want to kind of reach out and see if there's any update on that. And she's like, oh yeah, we're waiting. to get feedback from so and so about you and the other candidate, and then we're gonna. I think we'll have a decision tomorrow morning. So it wasn't clear to me if there was another candidate or not. I didn't know if this was I go in and press them and they give a thumbs up, or I'm going in, someone else is going in, and they choose between me. So now I know, okay, I'm down to a 50-50 chance here. So we'll see. We'll see.
Or you could have gone out on a limb and said, I'm just guessing, but I think you need both of us.
I could have said that.
Oh.
Well, part of me is thinking, is the other applicant still waiting around, or maybe he found something else at this point?
Right,
That'd be great if the other applicant dropped out, because I did fine, and then whatever, he found something else. Fire me. I don't know what I'm up against.
So Venison.
Yeah.
Just let me ask you: are you that other person?
Oh, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. See, actually, I was trying to surprise Johnny with that, but I surprised you.
Are you're not applying for IT jobs in Boston by any chance, are you?
Wait. First of all, what are you saying? Say that again.
No, it was a joke. Brian is asking if you're the other applicant that I'm up against for this job that I'm applying for in Boston. But
yeah,
it sounds...
Ohio to Boston, hell of a commute.
Well, they got apartments here.
Yeah, but not for the price I'm paying.
Or there's space in Johnny's basement.
They got apartments here that are cheaper than California.
I don't know, but I don't think they're cheaper in Ohio.
No. I got to tell you, if you're going to live in Massachusetts, it's great to move to Massachusetts from California, because then housing feels cheap.
Yeah, but what the hell? Software reporter? What the hell is that? No, you're not going on the internet.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I kind of missed, everything you were saying, because I got distracted by the death of Ken Nordine. Oh, wow.
Okay. So,
do you know who Ken Nordine is?
Yeah, he's like a radio guy, right?
Sort of. Voiceover mostly, and he created, the new art, quote unquote, new art form, word jazz.
Right. Yeah, I heard about that yesterday. It's like, why are you just hearing about that now?
No. Like,
of course, as you pointed out to me, my Twitter feed is full of all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
Pretty
Not
much,
just
cats. And whales.
And speaking of cats, there's one right behind Johnny.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
Where the hell are works in Chrome?
Here he comes. Look at that. See, not just cats, the cat.
Yeah, that's Hestia. She likes to get a little pet and then
walk away.
She's a very nervous cat. She's not quite... This isn't a home base type of room, even though I try to welcome her in there every chance I get. But she prefers to hang out like under the bed.
And there she goes.
Yeah, she's...
Out the door.
She's already had her wet food for the day, but that doesn't stop her from trying to ask for more.
Right.
She gets her wet food every day at 5:30, and every day at 4 o'clock she starts meowing for her wet food, and it's like, you got an hour and a half to wait. This is a long time to be sitting around. You know what
I would do?
What would you do?
I would show the cat the clock face. Say, see, it's not time yet.
I point to the clock. I say, you got an hour and a half to wait. She'll meow, 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 and then she'll come in, let me get her a little pet and run out, and then she'll be out and be some more. And it's like, whatever. It's all good. But so yeah, hopefully tomorrow could be a really good day. Tomorrow morning, I might get some news. Might be, they might pick me, and then I get to go to my boss and say, hey, I got some news for you. I don't give a shit about any of this anymore. I am so done with you. I am... Oh, Ah, God.
So is 2 weeks notice standard?
Yeah, I'll do the 2 weeks notice.
So you drag on for 2 weeks, get to do
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, not nothing. I mean, I'll tie up the loose ends, but the stuff that really needs to get fixed
Right.
that no one's helping me with, I don't care.
And you
I
get
don't care.
those managers that want you to do their job, you're going to give them the list. These are the things I don't do.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're going to hire someone, you need to put a request in that you're hiring someone. And there's a form that you fill out that you put all the necessary information into. And we made a document that lists step by step and explains how to fill out this form, how to submit it, and what every field needs. And I can't tell you how many times we get situations where it's like, well, how come this person wasn't set up with this level of access? Well, because that access requires checking this box off, or that access requires filling this field, as it says here on the form that we sent you.
Do I need to highlight all those important fields in yellow?
They're all highlighted. They all have arrows. We put a lot of time into this form to make
by the way,
into this document.
By the way, don't use an orange highlighter because it comes out black when you photocopy it.
Ah, good to know. Well, we print them out in color printers. We send them as attachments on the emails.
Yeah, but if you got one that's filled out and you need to photocopy it,
but
then you can't read what was written.
This is all
and
digital.
The cat's back, and it's out.
Oh, this is all digital.
Ran out.
Well, I put the hand out to pet, but since I wouldn't look at her, no eyes, no way. Anyways,
you know what you do is you get like a hat, that has eyes in the back of your head.
But I got a form that came through the other day. Oh, what was it? It was, can you set so-and-so up with access to do this? And can you give them a little bit of training on how to use it? And could you set them up so they can do it on their mobile phone? And it's like, A, this person already has access set up to that. B, I only know how to set up a login. I don't know how to use it. You figure out how to train them how to do it. And C, no, I don't have a way to make that work on a mobile phone. Thank you. Good day. Ticket closed. So hopefully I won't get a reply on that one. I dressed it up to be a little more diplomatic than that. But it's like, seriously?
But if you get the news tomorrow morning and then that message came through from this idiot manager, then you can say, hey, no problem.
I don't care. Let me schedule that for 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Right. And I will give you some detailed instructions.
My calendar's wide open 2 weeks from tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah. But
boy, I just see black flashes across the doorway.
He runs around every now
zoom,
and then.
Zoom.
So
I think the cat's on some kind of uppers.
But here's the thing I never understood. I never understood why some people have come to a place where they feel like the help desk people are the right people to recruit to train our new employees how to do their job. Because I don't know how to do other people's jobs. I know how to get them logged in.
Did you ever get that at Tharco?
Yeah, I did. I did.
From who? Name the names of the idiots that thought that way.
Pete.
Oh, well, that was a given. Okay. How about somebody else?
I got that
I forget. Now, were you there when Amy was head of customer service?
Yeah.
Would she do that?
I don't know if she would. Here's the thing: is that Pete was the one that took it to the next level, because it was normal for me to. Now, here's the way I wanted things to work. The way I wanted things to work were send an email to the manager saying their account's set up. Here's your username. Here's your default password. Thank you. Have a good day. And that's the end of it. But then it started turning into, they couldn't figure out how to type the password in right. They thought that, I was really excited about their password. And it's like, no, the exclamation mark at the end is part of the password. So then I learned don't add a password with an exclamation point is what I learned from that. It's like, no, I'm not excited about your password. I needed a non-alphanumeric and I threw it at the end.
You know what you do? go to some flea market or whatever and find an old dial phone,
Uh-huh.
right? And so when you get something like that, the person doesn't understand current technology and whatever, pull out of the bag the old dial phone and see if they know how to use that.
Here, do you know how to use this? No, but
Hey,
but
and we can download an app for that.
so it started being normal for me to go to someone's desk on their first day and get them logged into the computer, get them to change their password, get them logged into SAP, get them to change their password, show them where the phone directory was. And so then it started becoming normal for Gators to do training. But then, you start getting questions like, okay, well, how do I use SAP? And I'm like, you're gonna have a fun you're gonna have a fun 4 weeks right now. But I'll let them take over that.
Hey, and I was a programmer there, and they wouldn't dare ask me how to use it because, like, hey, I only know how to write it. I don't know how to fucking use it.
You are more qualified to train than me because you understood what people were doing in it because you programmed it. I just know how to I set up passwords. That's all I did in there. I did not do.
Right.
I know how to route a printer.
But actually, most of the times, I did not know how to use the applications.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, I could struggle through like a basic sales order. But
that's more than I could.
Okay, so like the whole estimating system was built in-house, and I could stumble through that, but I don't know all the routings and the materials and all the crap that needs to go in there.
That's okay. Half the workers didn't know that either.
Right.
I mean, well, one thing.
Hey, but a designer like Martine would know it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. Well, we do know that there were some people that didn't understand what they were doing, like the AP department.
Did or did not?
Did not.
And of course, then there was Jalissa that knew the AP side, and then
Jalissa was AR
first.
She was an AR first. She was always AR.
But then she also learned AP, and so she knew both. And then when they did some head cuts, her AR half was with this guy.
No, that was
and the AP was.
That wasn't Jalissa. That was that was someone else that was between the two of them.
And then they let her go because she knew too much.
Right, she knew too much. Well, she was working half time for 2 departments, so each department decided to cut half ahead. And she had
there you go, boom, one person.
And as she's literally walking out the door with a box of her stuff, walking by the banner that congratulates her on the getting Employee of the Month, and that's when they did away.
Oh, there's that part too. Yeah.
And that's when they did away with the Employee of the Month award.
Right. Because you're just not worth it.
Employee of the Month did not mean that you were safe from being laid off. Apparently,
learning a second job.
Yeah.
Did not help you from being laid off. It was ridiculous.
But the thing about AP was that there was one person that worked in AP that knew what she was doing. And she was also the one person in AP that didn't get along with the rest of the people in AP, including the boss of AP. And she knew more than
Paulette.
the boss. Yeah, Paulette. I think she knew more than Janae.
She was good. She did, yeah.
Janae was a very nice person. I had no problems with Janae, but I got the feeling like Paulette knew more about what was going on in the department.
Absolutely.
And Janae was the one with the temperament
to some extent,
manage.
and I feel for her. But Paulette just didn't want to get along because she just didn't give a shit.
No, she was one of those, I don't give a shit. I do my job. I know my job, and I know my job better than these idiots surrounding me. No, she didn't call it. She was... Actually,
and
she
I would
did.
talk to her about fishing because her view of fishing was totally different. It was hilarious.
What was her view of fishing?
So, she's the type that, sits at the riverbank, whatever, with a fishing rod and this little bell at the end of the pole.
Okay.
So you just sit the thing there, and when the bell rings, then you can grab the pole again and reel it in, right?
That makes it easier to drink between fish. Yeah, that's
or chatting with your buddies.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole chat fest fishing.
Oh, okay.
Wait a second. You're supposed to sit there quietly. It's like a Zen moment.
Well, there's some people.
But no, it's a different view.
For you, it's about the Zen. For her, it's about the chatting. For me, it's about the beer. We all have our things that we fish for.
Sure. Right.
But no, she.
Okay.
The thing is that she. Oh, she was not getting along with someone else in the department, whose name I forget. The only
Soap opera time.
The only thing I remember about her was that Nick would often comment that she had the largest trunk at Tharco, and I was like, "Damn, really, Nick? You're gonna go there?" But I think there were some arguments that ended with Paulette don't work here no more, and that's when the department started to fall apart, and because they're all nice people and they could all do their job day to day. But they were following instructions on a piece of paper without understanding what they meant. And
right,
I think
where Paulette was there to fix problems.
Right. If they got
so I would say if there's a fixer in the department, that was her.
If before they got in too deep. Now she would say, "What in the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that? What are you, stupid or something?" I don't know. I'm exaggerating a bit, but I'm sure it wasn't a polite fix, but she'd fix it.
Who was the other person in the department that she didn't get along with?
Oh, I forget her name. I really don't want to name a name now that I said someone had a large trunk, because then I'm actually on the record saying that, and I don't. But
yeah, let's kind of pass on that.
I didn't remember.
We'll clip that out in the post, right?
We'll fix that. I don't remember her name anyways. She was she was
Real quick.
She was kind of quiet but very polite. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to send a quick message here. Sir Mars, so you're looking for a job? Just play them lemonade stand. I get all kinds of recommendations the next day. Dude, you going to take that? Come on, take them down a peg. Message over.
Okay. Anyways.
So wait. So you got this from Sir Mars just now?
No, I'm looking at this conversation that I caught on Twitter between him and someone else.
So do we have confirmation that he's listening?
I've seen some interesting conversations with him before.
Yeah.
Recently, too. It's kind of like, gee whiz, should I pop in and say, hey, what the hell is this about? But I don't.
No. Well, the point I was getting at was that whenever I think about someone that doesn't understand what they're doing...
Sir Mars. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Never mind.
Anyways.
Empty.
I've always felt like that that was a prime example of needing to have someone in the department that actually knows what's going on behind the scenes with those instructions you're following.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she didn't get along with the other people, and that's also important. But I think there was at least one time you were over there for like an hour fixing their mess because they missed a step, and then they kept following steps, and then they tried to fix it, and they just messed everything up.
With Paulette or somebody else?
Well, this was after Paulette was gone, so it was...
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once in a while, I'd go try to help fix. Although Marianne would be much better because Marianne was the expert. She really knew those applications inside and out.
Anyways,
I would also spend some time with Paulette. Now there was this manager there early on that you go to talk to her about some problem that she was having, but she would spend 20 minutes bitching about this or that or the other thing that had nothing to do with the problem. So you just kind of have to sit there and let her go through that, and
it's a process,
Yeah, and then okay, so let's figure out what you're doing wrong or what needs to be corrected.
Anyways,
she was kind of bitching that, like Marianne got this promotion to be on the SAP team, made more money, and and she didn't get that. Well, oh well.
Go see if they're hiring across
Marianne
the street.
Was really good at it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is
yeah, really. Don't you love that?
No, this is also an oh my God moment. Just saw something here about High School Musical, the series. They're filming now. God.
No, we don't need that. High,
Oh, last
High School Musical, the series, isn't that called Glee?
I don't know, but they started filming it, so it'll be coming to your TV channel or whatever.
No, that was Glee.
Probably
They did that
soon.
already. It was called Glee, and it sucked.
maybe they're going to do another one. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I would have it on briefly, and there's a conversation going on, and then they break into song. It's like,
Yeah,
is this real world, or what are we seeing here?
I mean, now they did that for an episode of Buffy, but there was an explanation for that, and they only did it one episode, and it was funny,
Yeah.
because like you're walking down the street and someone's trying to sing herself out of a parking ticket, and they just keep on walking and the song just kind of fades, and it was great fun. It was great fun. Shaz is agreeing with me that Glee is sucky and is laughing at that.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that much. It was like, no.
Now speaking
No.
of crappy sucky music.
Oh, hang on. One last thing on Tharko.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but there was a big Tharko reunion just recently.
You told me about that last week.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Did you get
Never mind.
more news about it? Any updates?
No, I'd forgotten that I said something about it.
Yeah. Oh, but I didn't finish talking
'cause I'm
about.
old.
You know what? I got derailed. I didn't finish talking about Pete and what happened because Pete would start scheduling me to. But it turned into guiding people to get logged into the system and set their passwords to putting like a half hour of time scheduled blocked in for training with me, and they just called it training. We want to get them trained, but I always thought it was awkward because it really should not have been set up that way. Because if I'm sitting down training someone, they start asking questions. Well, what does the system do, and how do I do this? And it's like, I don't work sales. I don't know. I just get you logged in.
Isn't that what Susan was for?
Right. Well, yeah. Well,
that's a different conversation.
but they had to get logged in before they talk to Susan. So, but
Sure.
oftentimes and I remember I used to push back on my Fong on that. Could you get me out of this whole training gig? I'm not a trainer. I'm not the right person to teach people how to do. And she's like, well, you can show them how to get logged in and how to use the phone. And then she's like, well, you should get more organized with a training procedure and a process so you can sit down and go through the checklist. And I'm like, I shouldn't be training them. That should be part of their standard job training.
You put together a one-page PowerPoint, and then when you come to the end and you say, that is the end.
Yeah.
See you later. Oh, it was only 10 minutes.
Well,
good.
We'll pull a Marvin. I will not be taking any questions at this time. Thank you. Yeah. That was how the whole pot testing was announced to us.
Right.
We're giving you a month's notice. Get clean. I will not be taking any questions at this time. Thank you. And then he was still standing there, and we're all standing around like, we want to ask you questions, and we're right here in the room with you.
Right. This would be the best chance.
Yeah. He's like, but he I mean, that was like, I was like, God, that sucked. The whole, I will not be taking questions. Thank you. Like, can you do that? I guess you can. You just did. But I'm not happy about it.
When you're top manager, you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's point blank. What more do you need to say?
Well, the thing is that I still don't get to this day is that the policy said that you were allowed to opt out of it. Which, to me, what's the point of having a pot testing policy if anyone can just opt out of it, no consequences? Does opting out of it mean that you get fired? Or can you really or can you just opt out and, okay, you're opting out, we won't test you? I mean, what I never got a clear answer from that. Gordon tried to ask the question, but I don't feel like he claimed he was asking for the benefit of others in the room in his T-shirt and jeans.
Gordon was totally willing to pee in a cup.
Yeah, I figured he was.
Yeah, in fact, I think he did it once or twice. At least once, maybe twice.
I did it at least
twice. Larry wanted to totally refuse. Did he fill out the form that says, no, I'm not doing this?
He should have. Then we could have found out if he got fired or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's gotta
'Cause
take
then-
over the team.
I'll
Both
see
your
him
questions are
next
answered.
month.
Did he-
at my next jazz session? I'll bring that up.
Do you know if he did it or not? Or
I don't remember. That's why I'm gonna have to ask him.
yeah, because I mean, what's the point if you can just opt out? Why even do it if you can opt out?
Targeting.
You know, because there was a. Do you remember Bob Booth? He was
No.
before Marvin.
No,
darn.
I Marvin was there when I was there.
Okay, so before Marvin was this guy Bob Booth, and the manager that was head of accounting wanted to fire Larry
Huh?
just because he didn't like Larry. To him, Larry was a slacker, and I think there are other people that felt that way.
Really? He seemed to get the job done.
He was fine.
Yeah.
In
Did
fact,
he want to opt out?
he was kind of well, and he wanted to opt out, but he was also kind of milking the company. Like they offered, various educational opportunities, and he got a law degree,
That's
and
smart.
he passed the bar.
This is an example of how he's a slacker.
Yes, because you take
because
take,
he got
take
a law
advantage of
degree.
the benefits that are offered.
Because
Right.
he went out and got a law degree, and that's why he's a slacker.
Right.
That is.
But the
Take a
other
drug
thing is that he wouldn't
Fine.
put in the extra hours, that were often expected. A lot of companies, when you get it to his level, they wanted you to work, 60 hours a week or whatever.
Well, right. I mean, well, he was
And
doing
he
all
just
their.
wouldn't do it.
He was doing all their tax stuff, so he should have been living
Right.
there during tax season. But
Well, but also, there was a time where he was quote unquote supervisor
of who?
of accounting people,
Oh,
and he was lousy at it.
no, yeah.
That's not reason to be fired. That just means, okay, let's not have him be manager. That's all.
There's a whole theory that everyone works up to the job that they're mediocre
The
at,
Peter
and they're really,
principle.
but right.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that we were able to fix that one, and now we got Larry to the job that he was good at. But yeah, no, that's interesting. Anyways,
So he was about to get fired, and it was this guy Bob Booth that preceded Marvin that said, "No, we're not getting rid of Larry." So we protected him.
oh, nice.
Bob Booth's a good guy.
Yeah, that Bob Booth is a good guy. You got to try. Bobs are good guys.
Yeah.
Ah,
And I think
got
he left the
protect you.
company because, he could see some reductions that he thought was unnecessary. He didn't want to be part of it. So he left. And he went to the big drug company, Novartis, I think it is. I don't know
Anyways,
where he is now, but these people keep moving on.
That doesn't sound unusual.
just earlier I was trying to transition away from Tharko talk to and speaking of bad music.
Bad music.
Are you doing another dollar pin special?
Well, this is I have a record. I paid something in the neighborhood of a number of dollars for it. But I wanted. Well, I mentioned it on the Dune and Bob show yesterday, and so I wanted to actually feature it a bit. And this gives us a chance to talk about records.
Oh yeah, thanks for leaving me hanging.
Leaving you hanging. Oh, that was Dune controls the phones.
Yeah, we'll call you back.
Yeah, that was Dune. That's all
Actually,
Dune.
I completely forgot it was still on.
Anyways, you ever remember when you were a kid and you'd eat breakfast cereal and you could mail in box tops and get things? I don't know if they still do that or not, but it used to be a thing. You mail in box
Yeah.
tops. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Now, back in your days, they would just print the record right on the back of the box. But when I was a kid, you could send in box tops and get an actual piece of vinyl in the mail in a cardboard sleeve. And so when I was a kid, my mom mailed away, and I got one of these, and I trashed the hell out of it. And I found one that wasn't trashed on eBay. So,
Slick.
Yeah, so no, this was I always find something weird or unusual to open up the show with on the Dune and Bob show, and my goal is always to try to surprise Dune and make sure that whatever comes out is something that he's not expecting. And I don't think he was quite expecting at the explosion to hear
Happy sound, snap is the happiest sound I found. You may clap, rap, tap, slap, but snap makes the world go round. Snap, clap, Rice Krispies.
Now, I think this was actually a jingle from a commercial in the 50s. You can actually find prints of that on YouTube. So I don't know.
From the 50s?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that far back.
Yeah. They had Rice Krispies in the 50s. Rice Krispies is a pretty classic cereal.
But I didn't think that the jingle went that bad. That far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does, apparently. According to the internet. Which has never stated me wrong before.
You know, Abraham Lincoln said, everything you see on the internet is not necessarily true.
But when you have a real life, confirmer. Yeah, I heard this before, back in the 60s.
Hey, what about this one? I like this one. Get the whole gospel choir going on.
We've got the birds and the bees waking up, waking up. The flowers and the trees waking up, waking up.
All waking up.
Me waking up.
Gotta wake up to that snap, crackle, pop.
Crackle pop. To Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Let 'em pour, let 'em pour.
Oh, yeah, they got the harmonies, everything going.
Bananas, let 'em pour, let 'em pour. The milk on top.
You gotta love the opening line.
Yes. We got the birds and the bees. Wake it up.
Holy
Wake it up.
crap. What else are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wouldn't it be great to go in?
Does the bear do it in the woods?
Maybe. I'd love to go to a Baptist church service and see the gospel choir just break out of this in church.
Helps to wake you up in the morning.
There you go. Great ways to wake up in the morning. Oh, man. Yeah, so it's a fun record with lots of Rice Krispie jingles.
It's Snap, Crackle, Pop. Start with Snap, Crackle, Pop. Put some Snap, Crackle, Pop.
That Snap, Crackle, Pop. Now, this one I've not found an actual commercial to go with. I don't know what this was used for. That's fun record.
Is that a kazoo choir in the background now?
I think, yeah, that's some kazoo going there.
Into your life.
And that was from the 50s, or is that later?
No.
That has to be later.
No, this is later. Only the first one was from the 50s.
Right.
Put some Snap, Crackle, Pop into your life. Put Kellogg's Rice Krispies into your morning.
Was it some kind of like a operatic type of,
With French horns.
Yes. There we
I
go.
watch Saturday morning cartoons every weekend, and I never heard some of these singles.
It's fun to put Snap, Crackle, Pop into your life.
Every weekend
go.
from 1959 on up.
Well, you
So
didn't hear all
in the
those.
last month, we've discovered a couple of new channels on cable.
Yeah?
One is called El Rey.
El Rey.
Yeah, and they play stuff like, oh crap.
El Rey.
Oh crap! Like the Black Sheep Squadron, Baba Black Sheep.
Kids nursery
12,
rhymes?
No, that's a TV show.
Oh.
Oh.
That's
Well, there's a
that's
Herbert El Rey
World
school
War
of...
II-ish, era flying deal.
I'm trying
And
to
then you
find
got-
this.
And then you got Hill Street Blues was on it and that sort of thing. So El Rey.
I found a Herbert El Rey School of Dental Medicine, but I'm not finding an El Rey TV channel online
Exactly.
here.
No, yeah, in fact, if you dig for it, you'll find it on Wikipedia. And there's one also we just discovered called H&I. That's Heroes and Icons. And they play
I
stuff
get that.
like Hill Street, MacGyver.
Now, I found El Rey Network, ELREY.
Yeah, El Rey.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Spanish
that's
for
it.
the king, an American television network founded by Robert Rodriguez, and deal with Univision, targeting a Latino audience.
But they have an English version of it.
Specializes in grindhouse style content, and its bumpers and commercials use grainy visuals with narration by a distinct gravelly voice. Okay, El Rey. Got it. And they're rerunning old things.
And then the H&I, which is Heroes and Icons, and they play like MacGyver,
Oh, yeah.
Nash Bridges, those kind of shows.
I think that one you can get on an antenna on a sub
And
channel.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
All 5 of
Oh,
them.
I haven't seen Star Trek on that channel. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, they run all five of them.
some of these channels you could get with a as a sub channel of a network through an
Well,
antenna.
in certain areas, Comcast
Yeah.
carries it.
Yeah.
And we noticed that the H&I is on ours. The El Rey is on Spectrum or something. That's how we discovered it in Hawaii.
Yeah. So that's cool.
H&I is
Speaking of
everywhere.
Hawaii, did I tell you what the flight attendant said to this other passenger?
Oh, what? They're here to listen to the complaint or something like that, or
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
that really kind of cuts the whole meat of it.
yeah.
I'm
Anyways.
here to listen to your complaints.
There we go. Oh, I have a quiz for you. Let's see how you can do with a quiz, Brian. Let's see if you test well. Okay. Question number 1. How do you put a giraffe into a refrigerator?
Ooh, I might need to call a friend. Venison.
Venison, you got this one?
Bring, bring.
How do
Hey,
you put
Venison.
How do you put a giraffe in a refrigerator, Venison?
Do you put a giraffe in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So no, we got a
Where's the punchline?
open the refrigerator, put in the giraffe, and close the door. This question tests whether you tend to do simple things in an overly complicated way. Okay, next question. We'll go with you again, Brian. How do you put an elephant into a refrigerator?
You open up the refrigerator door, you put the elephant in, and then close the door.
Nope. The correct answer is you open the refrigerator, take out the giraffe, then put the elephant in, close the door. This tests your
Got
ability to think through the repercussions of your previous actions.
Oh, God.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, next question.
I got this one.
All right. The Lion King is hosting an animal conference. All the animals attend except one. Which animal does not attend?
The elephant, because he's still in the refrigerator.
Yes, you got it.
Oh.
This tests your memory.
Do I get a prize for one answer correct?
Well, we saw some more questions here.
Oh, okay.
All right, next question. There is a river you must cross, but it is used by crocodiles, and you do not have a boat. How do you manage it?
You go to the refrigerator, get the elephant out, close the refrigerator, ride the elephant across the river.
No, you jump into the river and swim across. Have you not been listening? All the crocodiles are attending the animal meeting.
Okay, this is fucked up.
All
Yes, there's not been. I've been drinking coffee, not alcohol.
See, you got one
and
right.
I have no excuse,
You got one
as
right,
we demonstrated before.
though. You did get one right, though, so I got to give you credit for that.
I'm stoned right now, and that's why I'm getting into this.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, maybe I think venison should take over.
I have a
No.
all right. I have a quiz for venison now. Okay, all right. Here you go, venison. Question number 1: how long did the 100 Years' War last?
Okay, I'm going to say 100 years.
Nope, 116 years.
Yep, I kind of
Close.
figured.
Which country makes Panama hats?
Argentina.
Venison, you got an answer?
Which country makes Argentine hats?
No, Panama
No,
hats.
Panama hats.
Oh, Panama hats. Which country?
Colombia.
Yeah, I'll say Panama.
Ecuador. All right, next question, Venison. From which animal do we get catgut?
Oh wow, I remembered this one. I read this recently. Catgut. But well, stop. What? I'll say horse.
Yeah, or sheep. We would also take sheep.
Aha.
You know, because then there's that expression, you know, like in my area, you see Teslas all over the place, right?
There
The
you go.
car.
Yeah.
You can't swing a cat without hitting a Tesla.
Can't swing a horse without hitting a Tesla either. But
But what do they mean by that?
if you swing a cat and launch it, it's going to land on a Tesla.
What they're doing is they're talking about a cat of nine tails, which is a whip.
Oh, okay. That works
See,
too.
so that got you.
Yeah. No,
And I've used that on Twitter. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
yeah, you got me there. All right. Here's one for you, Brian, then. In which month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
In May.
No. Venison, you got a guess on that one?
God, I don't remember what revolution.
The October Revolution.
Yeah, what month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution?
It'll probably be a month before, or a month after. I'll say October.
No, November. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's
Well,
colder then.
Might be a month after.
Yeah, you're right there, but then you stuck with October. I guess you just took the average of the two answers that you thought would be right.
Well, three answers actually.
Okay, all right. Here we go. One for you, Brian. See, at this point now, you're supposed to ask all the questions and then give the answers, and then that's when you figure out that there's something weird going on here. So now you're already not giving me the right wrong answers. But all right, what is a camel's hairbrush made of?
Camel airbrush?
Yeah.
Oh,
Horsehairs.
damn it. No, it's not. Ah, damn it. I saw that too. Oh, it's not in the memory. But I'll say, goat.
Squirrel fur.
No.
That's out of left field.
That's what the internet says.
In New Zealand, they make this really fine wool that's just, it's small. It's not like wool that's all scratchy. It's very soft. What is it made out of?
New Zealand wool that's soft. What's it made out of?
Hit the buzzer.
Hit the buzzer.
Okay, so it's part wool from
Okay.
sheep from New Zealand, but they mix it with possum,
Possum.
which is very soft.
Ah.
Okay.
Oh.
Possum is an introduced species that's just overtaking all over everything, so they, not only capture, kill them, process them, but use their fur. You kind of go, wait a minute, possums have fur?
Yeah, possums have fur, but
They do.
it's pretty short fur.
I remember.
Right.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a possum that had gotten hit by a car. It was on the side of the road, dead. And then we learned about possums.
Was he really dead?
I was hoping you'd ask that question because that is the question I don't. Because when you learn about possums, they play possums. Like, yeah, I saw a dead possum on the road once, and the question was, well, was it really dead? I'm like, well, all of its guts were hanging out from inside. So,
Oh.
yeah. It's, either that is either that one was into method acting, or
Yeah, the definitely extreme possum
It was-
playing possum.
pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting stuff there. It was ugh. Anyways, On that note, we have reached the 10 o'clock hour here.
Oh,
So it is
I
time.
did once.
awesome.
I did once hit a raccoon, and he was a big one, and you could hear his body rolling under the vehicle.
Oh,
And when I saw him the next morning, yeah, the body was still there, and yeah, I got him right in the head.
ooh, well, no pain.
Yeah,
And it
that
was
happened to me.
No pain at all.
Coming off of Route 78 going on to Route 78, accelerating around the curve, and there was a possum. Yeah, I got him. And yep, the body was still there the next day.
Well, one time, my dad was driving me home from a Boy Scout meeting. And, so we're heading back to Hillsborough from Neshannock, and Bunny jumps out in front of the car. My dad hits the brakes a bit, swerves a bit, but only takes. He took a safe amount of action to try to avoid it, but he wasn't going to put us in danger, and so this bunny made a nice thump sound as the tire rolled.
So
right
his
over
name
it.
was Thumper.
Thumper. Yes.
I got one better. Coming over the hill up in
Oh, he's not done yet.
And I felt badly about this, but okay, Bunny dead. Oh well. But something inside of me just had a reaction that made me want to laugh hysterically. And the last thing I wanted to do right after my dad ran over a bunny and killed it to its death is laugh audibly. So I am holding it in. I'm kind of, trying to, it's at some point my dad notices that I'm reacting in some way, but he doesn't know how I'm reacting. Like, he thinks maybe I'm trying to hold in tears or something. And Dad's like, yeah, I tried to miss it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let it out, Johnny. Let it out.
And he's like, you gonna be okay? And I'm like, yeah,
That's when I would have lost it.
He's like, listen, I'm like, I'm trying to keep from laughing. He's like, oh, you think it's funny? I'm like, no, I don't. But for some reason, I can't help but laugh. And he's like, okay, I understand. And that made it a little easier. I still, at that point, I didn't have to hide it because it was out and I explained it. And so I had my laugh. It was kind of like somewhat like a Tourette's moment. The more you don't want to do it, the more you're going to. So it started out with this little laughing impulse, and trying not to and not wanting to just made it that much harder. And I don't know why it was thump, rabbit dead, I want to laugh. I don't know why that, and I felt horrible about that. But I couldn't stop it. It was, it's awful.
Well, you needed a emotional release.
Yeah.
And the brain just said,
laugh about it.
Laugh about it.
Yeah. Really awkward when that happens at a funeral.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
We've had one worse.
Worse? Worse than laughing at a funeral?
No, well, I don't know about funeral worse, but like with rabbits. Unfortunately, in my van, couple friends with me, we're coming up over this hill about 50 miles an hour, and on the other side, were two rabbits in the road fucking.
Oh, you cock blocker!
There was no time to hit the brakes or nothing. All you could do was just go, bam!
Died happy.
Yeah, I was thinking, that last thrust must have been, killer.
At least you had a valid reason to laugh about killing a rabbit. I mean, they were fucking.
Oh yeah, we were like, wow, man, we feel for you. But after a moment, it's toward the end, the jokes came out.
Is life ending or is life beginning? Nope, ending.
Well, man, for one brief moment, a surge of pleasure unlike anything ever felt on Earth.
And then suddenly the tire crushed my brain.
If people are watching this, they're probably going, "Boy, these people are sick."
We do
Sorry,
not.
man.
We don't recommend going out and intentionally running over bunnies. But if one happens to find its way
Yeah,
under your tire, what can you
it
do but
happens.
laugh?
So we know this guy that's from Washington State, right? This
Right,
Seattle Tacoma area, and
Schmitty.
he was telling me how, I forget if it was his sister or his dad or something. They're all concerned about nature. And you got a lot of endangered species up in the northwest area, Washington State. This relative hit the snowy owl.
Ooh, that's not good.
Boom! Right into the windshield. Bummer, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that
like,
is.
oh yeah, you know what? You want to collect that body up and cook it up and see what it tastes like.
What else are you gonna have an opportunity?
Yeah, right. Because after all, you got to know: does it taste like a bald eagle?
Oh my god, this is awful.
Yeah, kind of between a bald eagle and a. Never mind.
The only way you get to find out what these animals taste like is if you happen to obtain one through a act of nature that results in a dead carcass of it landing on your car.
You're helping to clean up the roadway.
You may as well give it a taste and find out.
There's a lot of anti-hunting stuff, particularly trophy hunting, where the guy takes a picture of him with the dead animal that he just killed. And that is a little bit crude, but, anti-hunting, that's going too far because, particularly states like California or, hey, Pennsylvania, cars kill more deer than anything. Right?
Yeah.
So let's not ban hunting. Let's not kill deer with cars. That's what we'll do. We'll ban cars from killing animals.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
There we
Exactly.
go. Problem solved.
Exactly.
This reminds me of this old story about how in Washington they had a what was it, the inscription on the metal bands used by the U.S. Department of the Interior to tag migratory birds has been changed. The bands used to bear the address of the Washington Biological Survey, abbreviated WASH period, BIOL period, SURV period, until the agency received the following letter from an Arkansas camper. Dear sirs, while camping last week, I shot one of your birds. I think it was a crow. I followed the cooking instructions on the leg tag, and I want to tell you it was horrible. Wash, boil, serve.
Oh.
The bands are now marked Fish and Wildlife Service. So, yeah. That's right up there with the deer crossing story. But anyways, on that note, it's time to...
And then the wheel ran over my head. I'm still laughing on that.
That's what happened. That happened so long ago, that bunny would be dead by now anyways, so it's okay.
So it's not too soon.
No, exactly.
Yeah, both of them.
At this point, that bunny would have lived a full life, and, it wouldn't matter now because I don't know. Anyways, point
Well,
is...
unfortunately, mine didn't have any kids.
Oh, no, I'm sure that bunny had some kids before then. That was not this bunny's first time at the rodeo. They were fucking like rabbits.
Maybe it was their first time on the road because he wasn't smart enough to stay to the side.
Why don't we do it in the road? Thump. That's why.
Poor John Lennon.
On that note, it's time to put another show to bed. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you had a good time, and hope you were taking notes on all the Tharco updates. Oh, by the way, I've unpacked some more Tharco boxes, and they do grow mold like crazy. Yeah. Well, I had some boxes that were in the basement for a number of months, and even though the basement doesn't flood, I guess the floor gets damp. And so boxes that were directly on the cement floor developed a biological hazard that caused me quite a coughing fit when I breathed too closely to the box. So, that
is not good.
Not good. So, I might have cancer. Yay! No, I don't think that's how it works.
No. Oh, how long ago was that?
A few days ago.
Okay.
You're
still okay.
Yeah. No, I was
Actually,
feeling...
a friend of mine's dad was down in the basement. I'm not sure what he was doing, but I think he got on a moldum, and he died from it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's the type of stuff, if you live nearby it for a period of time, it might develop into something, but one time breathing in a basement box...
I don't know the details. I just know that
it
was some kind of a mold that got him. It's just a bummer.
Well, if I start having some coughing fits, I'll make an appointment. But,
Right.
And if I die, I'll definitely make an appointment. But
Right.
I haven't died yet, so I'm good. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. Good night. What's that?
What about the things we learned?
Oh my God. We learned so much. I can't even keep track of. Oh my. Venison, what have you learned?
Well, I damn, never take a hit just before doing this. But mainly that Gators, you are horrible with cars, and the cars know it, and they wouldn't even go to the point of running for you. You get the driver's seat to say, no way. Pop the clutch, dies.
Aw. And what about you, Brian? What have you learned?
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've been watching, but this is the Big Bang Theory's last season,
Right.
and one of the previews makes it look like Bill Shatner's going to show up.
Oh, that could be fun.
Absolutely. I'm sure that's not a show to miss. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's this week or I don't know how many episodes are left.
I'm still disappointed that shit my dad says didn't work out. Because he was good. You don't remember when Shatner was playing the role of the dad in the TV series Shit My Dad Says?
No, I never saw that.
Oh,
I think it was canceled.
Yeah, it only lasted once. Well, there was a Twitter account called Shit My Dad Says, and so they made a TV series based on the Twitter account, although they called it Bleep My Dad Says.
They just had symbols.
I see. Yeah.
Well, it was a new... No, we actually discussed this. This is back when I was working at Tharco. They, because it was big news that people were offended that they would release a show that had a censored curse word in the name of the show. Even though...
Because snowflakes are so sensitive.
Even though they always refer to it as Bleep My Dad Says. I mean, the announcers would say Bleep My Dad Says. Right. The word bleep. And I mean, it would say like S with a bunch of... Yeah. But William Shatner...
Shatner's pretty big on Twitter, so...
Yeah. And Shatner's take with it was, it's a word. It's just shit. What do you...
Right.
What's
the big deal? George Carlin talked about it.
I asked in kindergarten.
With 6 other words.
Anyways, what I've learned, though, is... I've learned why not to do it in the road. And I've learned...
Totally.
And now I've learned why running over bunnies is so funny. I couldn't figure it out before. I just knew it was funny, and I started laughing, and now I know. Because Bunny might have been fucking.
Might have been.
Might have been. And I've... What else? And I've also learned that venison needs to not take a huge hit right before talking. Chaz writes in, breathe, buddy, breathe.
We also didn't learn or confirm Dune's pregnancy test.
No, we've learned that Dune's pregnancy status is unknown.
Correct. Right. And we have pictures to not prove it.
Right. Yes. Thank you for the pictures. All right, everybody. We'll be back here next week.
And they were today. They were just before the show.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow, Vamp comes on 6 to 8 with ADHD Radio. Fridays, is it Fridays? I don't know. There's Derailment's on at some point. NHDRadio.com to go to our Facebook page, which is really cool. Not. And Dune and Bob on Sundays, and we'll be back next week. Thank you, everyone.
Is the Derailment Warhawk's new show?
Yeah. Well, it's not new, but he's bringing it back. But yeah, that's Warhawk's show.
Back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So-
I definitely want to watch that at some point, and maybe even see if I can help.
Oh yeah.
Although Fridays is a really tough day to do that. That's
Well,
why we're not doing that now.
Well, that's why we call you when you're not around.
Right. That's right. And actually, was it Sunday you guys called?
Yeah, it was yesterday we called.
And that
you.
was funny. That was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, we always like to, whenever there's nothing going on. It's like, let's call Brian, see what he's doing.
Oh, that's right. And I was at the home show.
Right.
And guess what happened today?
What happened today?
We had a lot of phone calls and set up a bunch of appointments.
Yeah, you did. All right. Thank you. Good night.
Why don't we do it in the road? Thump. I love that.